Hi, Glenn. It's awesome to have you on. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I'm going to ask you just a few questions, and our goal here is to give agents out there a small glimpse into a day in the life of a successful senior insurance agent and how to prospect for that market. So tell us who you are, the name of your company, a little bit about what you do and why you love it.
Yes, awesome. Hey, I really appreciate you having me on today, Celeste. So my name is Glen Shelton. I am the founder and president of a company called Lead Heroes, and our full-time focus is on lead generation and marketing for senior insurance agents, specifically life and health, so final expense and Medicare. I love what I do because I get to really help solve one of the key problems for an insurance agent. And being that I sold insurance for many years myself personally, I understand how difficult this problem is and how necessary a solution is to keep an agent successful, to keep the cash flow coming in, right? To make sure that they're continuing to make sales. And I think lead generation is one of those core competencies that you have to have, whether you're outsourcing it to someone like us at Lead Heroes or you're doing it yourself as an agent. It's just an absolute must. So I love that I can help other agents and kind of solve this problem.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I love that we kind of have a mutual goal. It's to help other agents be the best that they can.
Absolutely.
So do you, as a prospecting type coach, is that a good term?
Yeah, there's some coaching involved for sure.
Do you do any prospecting on a regular basis?
So, my team is really the ones that will do the prospecting now. So, similar to what you guys are doing at ProspectBoss. And I actually, before you guys were ProspectBoss, when you guys were still sales dialers, I used to personally use your software to make phone calls as an agent. So I'm very familiar with what you guys do. I think it's a really great service that you guys offer. And so, again, our prospecting that we're doing at Lead Heroes, I have a call center of almost 80 full-time callers making phone calls to seniors to find out who would be interested in speaking with an agent. So, we're making more than probably 1 million phone calls per month easily. Okay. So as far as prospecting goes, I am very familiar with kind of the call center lead generation approach and making those calls and how important it is to make those phone calls, whether you're doing it yourself or you're, outsourcing it to someone else.
Right. Do you have a favorite method of getting those or doing that prospecting? Do you have like one particular method that you prefer or a combination of methods? I think you froze up on me.
You were breaking up there for a second, but as far as different prospecting methods, I think that was kind of the core of your question there. Yeah. We've tried a little bit of everything at Lead Heroes. We've tried doing Facebook leads. We've tried doing direct mail. And our core competency has really been the call center approach. So, we're aggregating data from many different sources. Opt-in data, aged internet data, raw consumer data that's scrubbed for TCPA compliance, and maximizing the number of people that we're able to contact. And then we're making phone calls to those people, asking them, hey, would you like to see if you could save money on your existing Medicare plan that you have? Or, hey, would you like to find out more about burial benefits for seniors where you might qualify for coverage that could help 100% of your final expense in the event that you have an early passing. So with everything that we've kind of tried and experimented with over the years, I'm still, I'm biased, obviously, but I'm still a huge fan of the call center approach because, you're getting them on the phone, you're actually talking to someone, and you're able, and by doing that, I think you can vet interest more. with an internet lead or with a direct mail lead, if you don't even know if that phone number that's listed with that lead is accurate, right? So if you're in today's world, I think telesales is more common than ever, or more popular than ever. I think having a working phone number is crucial. And so when and again, from experience, when we had Facebook and we were utilizing those Facebook leads, I was shocked at how low our contact rate was. It would be, and I know it varies a lot depending on the area and the ad and all those other variables, but our personal experience is 100 Facebook leads and you're probably only going to get 30 of them to pick up the phone.
Right.
So that, if you don't have someone who can answer the phone, it just slows down the whole process, in my opinion.
Okay. So in your line of work right now, is there any kind of follow-up procedures as far as, do you put them on an SMS drip campaign or an email drip campaign afterwards, just to kind of stay in touch? Do y'all do anything like that?
So yeah, that's a great question. So we really don't do the follow-up. We have the ability to, and for some of our clients we do. We'll offer hourly campaigns where you can actually hire a caller at an hourly rate. And then if you wanted to set something up where this caller from our call center is making those follow-up phone calls on your behalf, we can do that. But typically what we do is we're really just focused on that first interaction where we're generating interest, that lead generation conversation. And then we're really handing it off. But I am really glad you brought up follow-up because that's crucial. I really couldn't say enough about follow-up.
Yeah.
The agents, I've been in the industry for almost 10 years. I know this from my own personal sales, working with agents, agencies. The agents and agencies who are most successful with any lead, whether it's, leads they're generating or leads they're buying from someone else, it really comes down to follow-up. I think a good follow-up system, whether that's phone calls, SMS, like you were saying, or email, you should be able to net almost 2 to 3 times as many sales if you have a consistent follow-up routine. So it's absolutely critical that the follow-up happens, whether, again, you're doing it as an agent or you're outsourcing it to someone else.
Okay. Awesome. What advice would you give to someone who's brand new in the life and health and Medicare, the senior insurance world?
Yeah. If you're brand new, I would say focus on one thing. Don't get lost into kind of the sea of opportunity that I see so many agents do. And again, something that kind of, as an agent myself previously, I fell into this trap. So, you get your license, you get your life health license, and then there's this just tons of opportunity as far as different policies you can sell. You can sell, annuities, you can sell, term, whole life. And then on the health side, you've got short-term care, cancer insurance, dental, vision, hearing, Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage.
Yeah.
And really quickly you can become overwhelmed trying to learn all of these policies, learn all the different carriers that offer all these different policies. So, if you're brand new, I'd say focus on just one thing, and maybe for a year, maybe even a couple years, just be a master of one thing, whether that's Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage or final expense. Just master that one thing before you add on. I'm not saying you can't sell other policy types. Many agents do. But I would say become a master of one before you move on to other things.
That's good advice. It sounds, just listening to all of that sounds overwhelming, let alone learning everything that goes along with them. Is there something that you wish you had known when you first started that you know now?
Yeah, it might seem kind of, what's the word, simple, but I think one of the best advice I think I could give anyone who might be listening or watching this, and especially if you're new, it really comes down to your activity level. and again, this is right in line with prospecting. You can't control the sales. You can't control the leads. You really can't control how much money you're going to make. But the one thing as an agent that's 100% in your control that will affect all of those things I just mentioned is your activity level. And again, I can tell you from experience being in the industry is that some of the worst salespeople have such a great work ethic and they have their activity levels so high that they make a crazy amount of money. And then you turn around, you look at some of the really, top talent salespeople who just aren't putting in that same activity level, and they're not making nearly the sort of money. So it's really interesting to see this level playing field. Everyone has the same license. Everyone can have the same sort of sales experience. And the one thing that I think ultimately sets apart all of these producers is their activity level. So if you're doing only 10 appointments a week, you're probably not going to sell as much as an agent who's doing 30 appointments a week. Or,
Right.
If you're trying to make phone calls to 50 leads a week and there's another agent who's doing 150 leads a week, they're going to have more people they're talking to. They're going to, quote more people. They're going to have more people to follow up to speak with, and it's all going to ultimately lead to more sales. So, if you're really trying to figure this industry out and you're trying to really be successful, to really boil it down and simplify it, maximize your activity level, work 6 days a week, call 150 leads a week, make 400, 500 cold calls a day. And ultimately there will be a momentum to that will carry you, and the cash flow will follow.
Yeah. One of the big things that we, that we push here at Prospect Boss is sales is a numbers game. So if you have a list of 10,000 people, call 500 of them a day if you can, if it's, if that's feasible for you. But the more people you talk to, the more opportunities you have to sell.
100%.
And so, if you draw that out over a period of a month, those 500 people, you're not going to talk to as many people in a shorter amount of time, and you're not going to be able to sell those many people in a shorter amount of time. It's going to be, okay, yeah, you've got 500 sales, but it's over the course of, 4 years instead of over the course of 1 year.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
the more people you talk to in a shorter amount of time, the more money you're going to make quicker. But sometimes that's not, something like that isn't feasible for everyone, especially if they're not keeping that activity level high, like you were talking about.
Right.
So on that note of activity level, how do you manage to balance being a husband and a father and run a successful business? How do you manage that work-life balance?
It's tough, and it's tough in the age of COVID where we're all working from home, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time. And, I think the key for me, and I've got 3 little ones all under the age of 8. So it can definitely be a full-time job, just being with them. But I think something that's really helped me over the past few years is, when I am in the office and when I am working and when I'm with my team or if I'm with a client, I try to really be 100% focused and in what I'm doing. So, I think a lot of us fall prey to the distraction. Our work can go anywhere, right? So it's really easy to be with your family or be with your kids or be with your spouse and work. And then it's easy to be working, but also distracted by your family. So I try to really have clear boundaries. Like, I'm spending this time, I know that I have a lot I need to get done the next 8-10 hours. Like, I have to work, but then after that, I can have all this time and not think about work. And that's really what's helped me a lot, is just kind of compartmentalizing my schedule and knowing that I need to focus for the next X amount of time on this, and then I can be free.
Okay. So in that 8-10 hour span, you're time blocking basically your your home time and your work time, but do you also do, time blocking type for your work time specifically? So, from this time to this time, I'm only doing this task.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So it'll get more micro for sure. For example, one of the big projects we've been working on at Lead Heroes is we've had a website redesign. And so, that's something that's absorbed a ton of my time. Just yesterday, I spent probably 4 hours almost consecutively just going through the website page by page. Do we want it to say this? Do we want it to look like this? So,
Yep.
I've found there's a lot of really successful entrepreneurs that do that. I want to say Elon Musk is actually someone who, I could totally be wrong, but I believe I read that when he time blocks, he sets a certain amount of time for the activity that he's going to do. And then once that time's up, he forces himself to move on, even if it's, exciting, or even if he's close to being done, just basically adhering to that schedule, that calendar, and knowing that you have to move on once that time's up. So,
Yeah.
not that I'm trying to copy Elon Musk, but I think that's just a easy way or a simple way of keeping the lines clean when you're trying to work.
And that's difficult to do,
Yeah.
especially because you can say, I've only got 10 more minutes until this is actually finished.
Right.
Well, how does that 10 minutes affect the next time block? And then that's going to run into the next time block and the next time block. And so it's just a domino effect, and it just wrecks your whole day, even when you think I can get it done really quick, but then your whole day is off schedule, and it gets really muddled really quickly.
Yep.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. Do you have any last piece of advice for our viewers?
Yeah, I think, over the years, I've heard people say, the phone's dead or cold calling's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found, in my opinion, is that the agents who are most comfortable on the phone, they seem to be doing the best, especially, again, with everything that's going on and more people working from home than ever. I don't see this world where we are doing our transactions solely through the internet, where there's no human interface. I think there's a variable to how that the future will look, and I'm not one to try to define it, but I think just being able to talk to someone, whether it's, face to face like you and I are doing, or talking to them on the phone, I think it's an extremely valuable skill. And utilizing dialer software, one thing you mentioned, kind of flipping that paradigm of, spending all your time prospecting versus spending your time actually talking to someone. We have an article on our website where it shows, a graph. When you use a dialer system, you can spend 80% of your time talking versus 80% of your time prospecting.
Right.
And I love the efficiency of that. So, making sure that you hone in your skills of being able to make phone calls, and then utilizing technology to help you in your follow-up, in making phone calls, in staying organized. I can't speak enough the value. Again, at Lead Heroes, we're making over 1 million calls a month, and that comes from utilizing technology and learning how to be successful using the phone. So yeah, that's kind of my final thoughts.
All right. Awesome. Give us a way to get in touch with you, Glenn.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to chat, or if you're looking for help with prospecting, or you want to hire someone to make phone calls for you on behalf from our call center, check us out at leadheroes.com, leadheroes.com. And then if you want to schedule an appointment to chat with me, you can go to the Contact Us tab on Lead Heroes, and then just pick a time slot, and then we can chat at a future date.
Awesome. All right, agents, now that you know how prospecting can help your business, go take a look at ProspectBoss.com, and then go check out Glen Shelton at leadheroes.com.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me, Celeste.